Man, I had a great 2015. I mean, it was excellent. It was excellent. And looking back on 2015, I called it. I was like, man, this year, 2015, this is my year. You know, everything is going to go the way I want it to go. The stars are going to align, and it's going to be a great year for me, and it was. I was so blessed this year. Career-wise, I'm in a really good place with my job. I'm progressing. That's going very well for me. My personal life is going very well. This year, we gave birth to my beautiful daughter, Ariana Rich. She's 6 months right now. Daddy loves you, baby. And just everything is going well for me this year. And so I had to make this video to kind of give you guys an idea of what I've been thinking and what I plan on doing. And right now I have a urgent message, a very urgent message, because I had a deja vu not too long ago. I had a deja vu. 2011, 4 years ago, around this time, maybe not the exact date, but around this time, I had a reflection. You know, I had an epiphany, an epiphany, if you would. I was like, wow, I really got to change something. Something's really got to give. I was in a bad spot at that time. I was hitting all kinds of lows. You know, I was in a really bad place in my life, and I vowed change. I vowed change. And that following year, 2012, that's exactly what happened. I transitioned from one person to the person that I am, that I should have been, that person that I am now, that I'm growing into now. It's a long, elaborate story, and I'll cover that another time. But yeah, I made a huge transition into the man I am now, into this gentleman I am now. And looking back, this transition was pretty rocky at first, but I got into it, and it's like I woke up. I was reborn. I became the person I was supposed to be, and I now know why I was able to do that. At first, it was always kind of an enigma to me, like, how did I do that? You know, it was always kind of cloudy because so much was going on at the time. But now I look back and I'm like, wow, I realized what it is that I did, and what it is that the secret, I should say, to being a gentleman. Now, I met a lot of interesting characters over the past 4 years. A lot of interesting characters, a lot of successful people, a lot of good people who maybe wasn't so successful, but they had goals. And I've learned multiple things, but there's one thing that separates a seasoned gentleman from that average Joe that's trying to make that transition. Is one thing, or should I say, it's two words. And I vow right now I'm going to change somebody's life. One person. I don't care if it's one person. I'm going to change that person's life, or at least their perspective of things. I want to get them on the right path. 2016, we're going to make it happen. 2 words. And these are 2 words that most gentlemen would, if you was to ask them for advice, they would not share with you. Not because they're being spiteful or nasty, but because they've been a gentleman for so long, it's just a normal routine for them. And those 2 words are, it's okay. Those are 2 words, it's okay. Now I know some of you are like, what? It's okay? What do you mean it's okay? You know, I'm trying to change. You know, I need more than it's okay. Well, when I say it's okay, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay if when you fail, you get back up and you realign yourself and you reestablish yourself and you get back on track. It's okay. You see, when we think gentleman, and when we say the word gentleman, a certain aura of perfection comes up. And I must admit, for a long time, I fell into that category where I believe if you want to be a gentleman, you have to have some sort of degree of perfection, no matter how minute it is. I believe that. Obviously, you know, I had a platform named after it. It has since changed about half a year ago. It has since changed. And it's okay to reestablish yourself. Now, I know a lot of people will probably argue that and be like, wait, no, it's not. You got to live by this moral. You got to be like this all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, no days off. You got to be perfect. It's not possible. It's not. You see, as much as we want to wake up a gentleman, breathe like a gentleman, walk like a gentleman, go back to sleep like a gentleman. It just doesn't happen. There are circumstances, there are situations where it's just, you may slip. You may slip and say the wrong thing, or you may do something that you didn't mean to do, things that you may regret. That's not exactly relative to being a gentleman. And that's okay. Now, I'm not encouraging that. I'm not saying, you should go out and you should fail. I'm not saying you should go out and purposely live below your standards and disobey your morals and your ethics and just be this mean, nasty person just because the world is not going your way and things aren't going your way. I'm not saying you should purposely do that and then the following day be like, I'm ready. No, don't work like that. We live in a society now where it's so hard to be a gentleman. It's so hard to be a gentleman these days, and that's another video for another time. It's very elaborate, but we all know that. Us men, speaking from a man's perspective, it's hard to be a gentleman. It's very difficult. That's why there are so few of us. But the ones that are a gentleman, we know that whenever we make a mistake or we slip and we fall, we get back up. Because if you're transitioning from being that average Joe to being a gentleman and you make one mistake, it's not game over for you. And I think that is the impression that most of these young guys get. Even guys in our generation, they believe, if I'm trying to be this better person, I'm trying to be this better man, I'm just trying to be a man. Can't spell gentleman without man. You can try, but you'll fail. You can't spell gentleman without man. If I'm trying to be this better man, and I do something that I didn't mean to do, and I say something I didn't mean to say, it's over for me. I got to go back to being this person that I don't want to be. I got to go back to doing things I don't want to do. No, man. You fall into that trap if you fall and you descent, and you continue to descent, and you have no will, you have no ambition to get back on track. That's what makes you less of a man. That's what makes you less of a gentleman. When you continue to take away from yourself. Hence the word less. You keep taking away from yourself, you're going to be less of a man. Now, if you fall and you're like, I'm going to get back on track tomorrow. I'm going to be better tomorrow than I was yesterday. Guess what? You're still a gentleman. And eventually, as you progress in your life and you get better at these things, you clean up your manners, you clean up your language, you're more of a professional at your job, you're more charismatic, just a better overall person. Once you get better at that, you'll find yourself not making many mistakes, and then one day you may not make any at all. And even if you do get at that stage where you do make some, or you make one, a whole year has gone by, you just make one, you had just one bad day, guess what? All that progress you made doesn't get washed away. It doesn't go away. You know what? It goes away if you let it go away. If you make that one mistake and you no longer care about what you're going to do the next day and for the future, guess what? Yeah, it washed away. You let it go. But if you make that mistake, you just fall. You have a bad day. You have a bad year. If you have a bad year and you want to do better that following upcoming year, you can do that. And nobody should be able to persuade you otherwise. Nobody. If you had a bad 2015 this year, and you want to do better next year, you want to be a better man next year, or maybe not even a better man, you just want to work on something next year, a part of you, want to take it a step at a time, then you can do that. And if you mess up on that, get back on it and continue to do that. Because ultimately you will get where you want to get. And I'm so compelled to share this message because it happens all the time. I got these friends, I'm not going to say no names, not going to say any names. But and this was before I put up my blog, my platform, before I even made this a brand. When I myself was transitioning, I had a group of friends, I was hanging around a not so good circle, a negative circle of people that was slowing me down. But since then, I've risen them because of the transition I made in myself. But while I was still in that stage of becoming a better man, I had these guys, man, Rick, I'm not in a good spot right now, man. My life isn't exactly where I wanted to be right now. I want to get better, but I don't know how. I don't have that path. You know, guys would come up to me like that, and I would tell them what I did to get me to where I was, and eventually I got so compelled to share the message I'm sharing now that I made it a blog. I made it a platform. You know, Facebook is my website. It's there. It's there. My message is there. You know, it's there for the guys that want to do better and they don't know how to. You know, that's what it is to be a gentleman. That's what it is. Being a gentleman is not being a celebrity. It's not something that is attained through fame or anything. It's attained through willpower. It's obtained through ambition. It's obtained through growth. You have to want it. You gotta want it. You gotta step outside your comfort zone. You know, we live in a world where there's so many social circles. People are willing to step outside the comfort zone to be in somebody else's comfort zone and fit in, but yet they're not willing to step outside the comfort zone to be in another position of power or a position of progression. It's all messed up. It's backwards. It's backwards. So 2016 is going to be another good year. It's another good year. I feel it. I feel a good year. Project-wise, it's going to be a big year for my projects. I'm going to be much more active in my projects. I didn't necessarily project 2015 to be a big year for my projects because I wanted to work on myself, and now I'm in a position where it's like, you know what, guys, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I had a good year, blessed year. I feel real good about the year I had. I'm very happy right now. I've been very happy for a few years, you know, and like I said, it's all because of those two words. It's okay. It's okay, guys. You want to be a gentleman, you be a gentleman. You get that G effect, you know. But for those that don't know, my name is Ricky Rich, CEO and founder of the G Effect, aka the Gentleman Effect. No longer the perfect gentleman. No longer the perfect gentleman. Moved on for that. On to something bigger. You ever been around a gentleman? Like, that may sound like a stupid question for some people, but if you ever been around a gentleman, I mean a true gentleman, you feel it. If you're sitting in a room with a gentleman, a true gentleman, you feel that aura. You feel that energy. You know what that is? That's the G effect. That is the gentleman effect. Feel it. You want it. You want to know, how can I get from here to there? 2016, I'm going to show you how. Y'all have a good night. No, y'all have a blessed night.